Welcome, welcome, one and all. So glad you have taken time out of your busy day to be with us. We have had a great couple of days down here along the Gulf Coast. We had a seminar in Miramar Beach and a seminar yesterday in Orange Beach. And spring break is in full swing down here along the Gulf Coast. If you are in one of those parts of the world, I hope all is well. And if you aren't, I hope you're taking advantage of the time you have to get ready for your busy time, as that is well underway for some of us that are in the ski resorts. Today's seminar is specialty products, and we're going to talk about two groups of products, some physical tools as well as some cleaning products to help us do our jobs more effectively. Before we get started, VRHP is the Vacation Rental Housekeeping Professionals Association. We have been around since 1999, and we specialize in the back of the house. We take care of all things housekeeping, maintenance, laundry, and we just love to talk about all things nasty, nitty-gritty, and uncolorful for some people to discuss and to clean up. If you are not a member, we encourage you to join. If you are a member, I thank you for supporting us and having membership. We do have a couple of webinars coming up besides the one that is taking place today. On April 4th, we have Sue Jones from HR for VR, who will be talking about hiring and onboarding. On May 16th, we have Inventory Control by Natalie Pfeiffer, who assists us here at VRHP. And then on June 13th, we have Holding Staff Accountable. For some of us, we will just be getting underway with the summer season, and holding staff accountable and helping them succeed is oh so important. We also have a couple of upcoming seminars that are taking place, one on March 29th in Seaside, Oregon, and one on April 10th in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. If you're looking for a chance to get out of the office, one of those two locations may entice you, and hopefully you could convince your supervisor to spend the money for you to jump on a plane or jump in a car and attend one of those seminars. All of us at one point in time have taken our car to a mechanic, and the mechanic has a whole host of tools and toolboxes that they have to work on vehicles. Some of the tools they may use every day, some of the tools they may use once a week, and others they may use once every couple of months or once every 6 months or so. And so the mechanic has these tools to be able to work on the specific things and the specific cars that come into their shop. And the tools are necessary for them to complete the tasks quickly and efficiently. As housekeepers, we are no different. We should have a toolbox of sorts full of all sorts of different tools, tips, and tricks to accomplish the cleaning and maintaining the asset that we have been entrusted with. And so that is what today's webinar is about. We're going to talk about some physical tools we have to help us do our job, and then we're going to talk about some liquid tools for us to do our job. So first, let's talk about a couple of physical tools that should be in our arsenal or in our toolbox to do our job. So the first one that I would talk about is an ozonation machine. The ozonation machine is a machine that produces ozone. Ozone is what happens after a lightning strike and helps replenish the ozone layer in the atmosphere. It also is wonderful at getting rid of smoke smells and other odors that happen to take place in our properties. As you look at an ozone machine, I would suggest that you look at one similar to look at that. I would suggest you look at one similar to the black box up in the upper left-hand corner. My experience with those is those are pretty tough. The issue with the ozone machines is if you drop them, you break the electrode that's inside that produces the ozone, and that is a very expensive item to replace. And the last one I purchased was like this one in the upper left-hand corner, and you could drop it, and the ozone machine and that electrode would be just fine. You also want to make sure on your ozone machine or your ozonation machine that it has an off and on switch. You just want to be able to push start and let it run for however long you want it to be. There are many machines out there that have a timer on them, whether that be 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 hours. That means you're constantly going back to the property to turn on the Ozone Machine to make it work. You want to have one similar to this one over here to the right with the red button where you just push it, it turns on, and it just runs until you tell it to turn off. Now, if you wanted it to run for 14 hours on this machine on the right, you could get one of those outlets with a timer on it, set it to 14 hours and just let it run so that it would turn off that way. You do not want to be in the property while it's producing the high amount of ozone that it is, because that is not good for us as human beings to be breathing that. The body doesn't know the difference between O2, which is what we breathe, and O3, which is what ozone is, and our body cannot do anything with the O3, and it essentially suffocates us. So you can be in the room for a minute while you turn it on, leave, and then you can, slip in, turn it off, open the doors and windows to make sure you get some good fresh air in there. And this is great for smoke, smell, and other odors that may be present in the room. Where to get it? I would look to your local janitorial supply company. You can get them online. Amazon carries them. Of course, they carry everything, right? So local janitorial supply company, that way they can service it and make sure you can get your electrodes and everything of that nature. The next tool that we have in our box, it would be a carpet cleaning machine. Now this machine is a dry carpet cleaning machine. On the left, it is standing upright, and on the right, you can see where the two bristles are, and they turn into each other. And the bristles go down the pile of the carpet to the backing and back up the pile and allow the carpet to be cleaned. It's a dry carpet machine, so as soon as you are done cleaning the carpet, the guests or staff can walk on the carpet. And I know when I was down here in Gulf Shores, my carpet tech used this in one property and pulled out 17 pounds of sand out of carpet in a house. And so it is great for getting that sand out of the properties. The other good thing about this machine, not only does it clean carpet, as is demonstrated on the left here, but it also cleans grout and tile and concrete, depending upon the bristle that you have. So coming back here on the right, you can see these bristles here. These are carpet bristles, and they can be interchanged with a stiffer nylon brush. So then you can clean the tile, or in this case, this picture is of a pool deck that's being cleaned. Now, obviously, the machine just doesn't do that. You would need some products to do with that, and we'll talk about those products when we get to the liquid tools in the second half or second portion of our presentation today. The other item that everyone needs, or that I'd recommend you at least have access to, would be an upholstery machine. Now, you can see here on the left that the clean water would be up on top, and the dirty water would be underneath. And over here on the right, you can see this nozzle here and the trigger sprayer. So there's a pump inside that then takes the water and creates pressure, and then it shoots out the nozzle, and then the head here then extracts the water. So again, if you have to clean upholstery, it's great for spot cleaning if you need to do that. If you just got a quick spot and you're not going to take the big carpet machine out, as we discussed earlier. Great for draperies, great for any of those things of that nature. And so I would recommend that you have one of these. Again, local janitorial supply company is great to have. It's great to come in and just be able to we all know we have upholstery out there that is just way beyond dirty and needs to be cleaned. And so this is what I would recommend, that you at least have one to be able to, again, as a specialty item, to be able to go out and clean. And again, as you're doing this cleaning with the upholstery cleaner or with the carpet cleaning, those are all billable items. And so you can certainly use those to generate some revenue and to be able to add a little extra cash to your bottom line to not only pay for the machine and pay for the labor, but also to give you a little extra cash to do those things you need to do in your department. The next tool would be a carpet cleaning brush. So as an inspector, I would be carrying a carpet cleaning solvent or a carpet cleaning compound, and I would use this brush to clean the carpet with, to just do those little spots. And I'm talking about a spot about the size of a silver dollar, and that is where that is what I would be doing or using to clean up. I would use the nylon bristles as I would take and spray the product on the carpet, and then use the bristle to turn into itself, and you always clean the spot into itself, never out, so it gets smaller. And then from time to time I could use this little item on the back. It's a wedge, and it's not sharp, but it comes to a point, and then I can use this to scrape or to work the carpet fibers and break them up a little bit, so then I can come back and use the nylon bristles on the carpet brush. Again, a cheap item, $5–6. You can get that from a carpet store. Interlink Supply is one location, and you know, you should always have several on hand to give to your inspectors. Moving on to our next tool would be carpet scissors. Obviously, if you have a carpet tech, I would recommend these Bill scissors. Otherwise, the knife on a multi-tool would be just as good to cut that strand, and it would be helpful to, you know, because we want the carpet to look good as people walk into it, especially as they're walking up the stairs. Their eyes will come across that carpet, and we want to get those snags out, because every once in a while that snag will get pulled by the carpet machine, and it will pull up into the roller, and then that would then cause a run in the carpets and help us, and then we have to replace the carpet. So I'm not advocating the scissors per se, because the knife on a multi-tool will do that. At the same time, it's kind of nice to have if you've got a carpet tech and he's just out there cleaning and he just pulls these scissors out, and you can see how they sit at an angle and they come right down against the carpet, and you can snip that and keep on moving forward. The next item is a carpet dye kit. I know at some point in time we've all had a housekeeper walk across the carpet with an acidic cleaner or with a bleach cleaner of some sort, and has put spots on the carpet, or in other cases a guest has done something to the carpet to stain it or to discolor the carpet in a couple of places. This is something that you can get. They come in various sizes, from something real simple to something like this, where it has all sorts of colors and everything to match that. And so again, this is a very specialty type item, and it helps you save those discolored spots in the carpet so the owner doesn't have to replace that, or if it's your fault from a housekeeper standpoint, to be able to replace that. Again, it comes with all sorts of different colors and a color wheel, so you can match the carpet. And then it's got cups here that then you take and mix the color, and then you would put it over where the discolored carpet is. Obviously, you'd want to do this in a corner where no one's going to notice if it's off color a little bit, and I'll do all that testing away where nobody can see it. Again, this is an item, you know, it's about $200 or $300 to have. Again, if it saves you a couple of grand in replacing some carpet, that's not such a bad expense either. Again, you have to tinker with it, you've got to work with it, you've got to practice with it to make sure that you can get the color correct onto the carpet that you're trying to recolor. The next item would be what I call a spiderweb brush, and it just sits on the end of a pole, and it goes up, and it can be used great for outside. Around the lights. It can be used for inside for the vaulted ceilings, because there are many times as I'm going through a property inspecting it, and some of those 20 or 30 foot high vaulted ceilings or high windows, there's cobwebs all over the place. And so putting this on the end of an extendable pole, extending it out, makes it so I don't have to get a ladder, call a maintenance tech in, and take them away from what they're doing. But this is just something that's real easy to get up super high and to get the cobwebs down. Now, obviously, if there's lots of cobwebs, we're going to want to do that on a departure clean. Obviously, this is something you would be using on a deep clean for sure. Again, you can just put it on the end of your pole, extend the pole, and get all the cobwebs out of the property. This particular item has much job security, because there will always be spiders and there will always be cobwebs. And so having this around is a pretty handy item. The next item is similar to this one in the fact that it does ceiling fans. And I've got two different types here. On the right, you can see one that's kind of a microfiber L-shaped item there as it comes across the ceiling fan. And then the one underneath goes over the fan entirely and does the whole blade, the top and the bottom. Again, they would go on a pole just like this item would, goes on the same extendable pole. So you don't have to get on a ladder or do the unsafe thing of standing on a bed, or even worse yet, pulling a chair over and standing on a chair to try and reach that on your tippy toes. So again, having an extendable pole of some sort to put this on, and obviously you're going to be cleaning the ceiling fan if it's above the bed before the bed is made, because we don't want to have to create more work for ourselves. Again, these are relatively inexpensive items, and you know, if you're using a doodlebug, as all housekeepers should, you know, the same pole can be used for your doodlebug, can be used for your spiderweb brush, can be used for your ceiling fan brush, and so they're all interchangeable, and they can use that same extendable pole to do that. The next item is something that I saw as I was in my travels at a large resort. And I call this it's called a gripper clamp style is how I found it on the web to get this picture. And the rag or sponge could go in here, and then you twist this, and then these clamps come down. So if you have a rag of some sort that would go in there, and you've got a super high spot, or something that you just need to reach up high and the spiderweb brush or the ceiling fan brush won't work, you could certainly use this. You know, just get a rag, clamp it in there, extend the pole, and then reach up to whatever you're trying to scrub off. Anyway, it's just I thought it was interesting as I saw the housekeeper using it as he was scrubbing some things on the tile floor. I didn't ask him why he was using a doodlebug, but there was just a big rag in here, and it had a product on it, and I thought it was kind of cool. So I thought I would share. The other item we need is a stopwatch. The stopwatch as a specialty tool can be used to train us as housekeepers, or can be used in our housekeeping Olympics to time people making a bed or vacuuming a floor or something of that nature. And a stopwatch is necessary because we have a certain amount of time to get our work done. We have from checkout to check-in to complete our work, and we don't have all day. And so using a stopwatch to create a sense of urgency in a time when there is none, you know, to help us stay focused on our task. I mean, think about the sports teams that we like to watch. You know, March is here. If you're a basketball fan or a collegiate basketball fan, you know, you've got March Madness going on and all of the stuff going on that. And the teams practice day in and day out. They practice on the basics. And a stopwatch helps us to do that because it forces us and assists us in making sure that we are being quick and expeditious in all that we do with our work. So again, simple stopwatch, your watch will work. You don't have to have a stopwatch, although it's kind of nice to have the presentation of a stopwatch to say we're going to time us to see how long it takes us to do that. As we move on from the physical chemicals or the physical tools to the liquid tools, the first one on our list here is an enzyme cleaner. And an enzyme cleaner is necessary to take care of blood, take care of urine. An enzyme cleaner, you know, from time to time we have a really strong fish smell in the fridge. An enzyme cleaner will take care of that. From time to time for the coastal markets, as people come to stay at the beach, they're here to cook and enjoy the wonderful fresh seafood that is in abundance close to the coast. And so the garbage cans begin to take on a real rank odor. And so spraying this enzyme product, and this particular one, this is produced by Kemper Industries and it's called Chemzyme, and it will break down that odor and break down the odor-causing agents and kill them. Chemzyme it's a protein, and it's an enzyme that breaks down proteins. And so if you have somebody who wets the bed, growing up for my kids, when they wet the bed as we were potty training them, I would take the Chemzyme, pour it over the place where they had wet the bed, flipped the mattress over, and put them back to sleep. And it breaks down the odor, breaks down the uric acid, and it is just a wonderful, wonderful item. The other thing too to consider is in many of the public restrooms that sometimes we will take care of, there will be a strong urine smell, and that's because the uric acid or the urine has now penetrated the surface, whether that be the floor surface or the wall surface, and no amount of cleaning will get that smell out. This is where you have to come in with an enzyme product that will then soak into the surface and break down that smell, break down that uric acid, so the smell will go away. And then once it's gone away, then you can come in and reseal the tile or repaint or whatever needs to be done to in that particular area. Again, this is a specialty item, and so the cost is a little bit more, and it does come as a concentrate, as you should be purchasing all of your products as a concentrate because it's less expensive that way. The next item that everyone should have is a mold and mildew cleaner. I want to be explicitly clear and say bleach does not kill mold and mildew. Bleach kills bacteria. Bleach does discolor the mold and mildew. And so looking at that and knowing that bleach does not kill mold and mildew, you have to have something that kills spores, which is what mold and mildew are. And so this particular product, again, done by Kemper, called Sporgo, has hydrogen peroxide and Australian tea tree oil inside the product. And you take it and you will spray it on the surface with the mold, and then you will see here how it foams up on the left. This is the hydrogen peroxide going in and pulling the mold root out of the wall, and then you can see here where the mold and mildew is on the right-hand side. And then it just takes and pulls all that out, and then the Australian tea tree oil is what kills the spores that are present that would then cause it to grow. So this can be used in showers, obviously outside. It can be used in any of those locations. And for those of you that are looking to say you're using green products, the Enzyme Cleaner and the mold and mildew product are both green products. They're both very natural products. Coming back to our carpet machine, these are the products it would use with the carpet. There is a dry compound that would be used, and then you would use 2 products to break down the tension of the carpet, and then the other product would then be used to encapsulate the dirt and stuff that's there. And so all 3 of these products together would be, you would spray this one on the carpet, and then spray this one on the carpet, and then come behind with a cup of some sort and spread this dry compound across the carpet. And then with the machine, you would then go back and forth. And again, as I described earlier, the bristles of the machine go down the fiber to the backing, back up the fiber, and that's what gets the carpet clean and gets all that dirt and gunk that's all the way down at the bottom of the fibers against the backing. And this just lifts that pile right up of the carpet, and the carpet looks so wonderful afterwards. And again, it's a dry product, so there's no 4 hours of waiting for the carpet to dry with 6 carpet fans blowing across it. It's immediately ready to walk on. Great product, especially on your back-to-backs and things of that nature, where you've got to get in, get the carpet cleaned, and get out so the property can be occupied with the next tenant. Some of us still have candles in the property, or some of us have guests who bring candles into the property and they shouldn't, and the candle wax gets spilled. And there's a couple of ways to remove that. One of those is with just a regular iron on the high setting and a paper bag, just a grocery store paper bag. You can see down here in the bottom right that there is where they've ran the iron across it, and the paper bag just grabs that wax and pulls it right up inside and takes it right out of the carpet. It is just the simplest way, and it is very non-abrasive, and it's super cheap because you have an iron in the property already. All you need is a paper bag from the grocery store, and you can go to work. The other way to get wax out of the carpet would be to use something called PIG, which stands for paint, ink, and grease. And this also gets nail polish out. I would recommend, instead of a gallon jug, you have, as pictured here, you have a quart. with a spout dispenser, and you just take it, spray it on it, and with your carpet brush, you just work it into the carpet, and it will just simply break down that wax or break down that nail polish, and then you can come back with a rag and spot it, and it will pull that stain and wax out. Again, a great tool to have in your liquid arsenal as you go about cleaning your properties. One of the other items that is interesting would be RainX. And I know many of us have glass shower doors, and the hard water builds up on it. And RainX, after you go through a deep clean, spraying RainX on it to help the water bubble up and keep it clean. Now, obviously, as you clean the glass over time, the products we're using to clean with will break down and remove the RainX. At the same time, having RainX on there for a short period of time obviously would help us, and then you can come back and reapply it. I do know of one company that tried to use this on the water-facing windows to help the salt and the water run off of the windows, and I have not heard back if that worked well, but I thought that was a great idea considering how well it works on the cars that I've used it on the windshields. So again, just another tool out there for us to be aware of and to be able to have to use. This is a super old product. This has been around since 1891. I had an issue when I was in Park City where I had to work with some soot and stuff around a fireplace. And this, you just open this up and you pull it out, and you've got a ball almost like a silly putty, if you will, and you just roll it around and work it on the wall, and it just reaches out and grabs the stuff that's stuck to the paint or stuck to the rocks, and it just pulls it off and works with it. Again, it has a very specific use for a very specific set of circumstances, and being able to get to this when you need it actually really helped me out at that juncture in time when I had that. The other item that is really simple for us to use as we start to talk about walls and as we are doing deep cleans would be Tide. Taking some Tide, about a quarter or half a cup, and putting it in a 5-gallon bucket with a couple of gallons, and just using a rag and put it in there. The good old, not the liquid stuff, not the new stuff. You want the good old-fashioned traditional Tide. And so that will then, you can put your microfiber rag in there, put it on your doodle bug, and you can wipe down the walls. It is just really good stuff. The other item that we need to have, and I've put this here in our liquid tools because of what it cleans up, is we all need to have a bloodborne pathogen kit. Now, obviously, all of us must have a bloodborne pathogen policy, and that's beyond the scope of what we're going to discuss today. At the same time, you all must have a bloodborne pathogen kit. And I can tell you that this little packet right here, this item called Absorbogel, what a great name. It can take the vomit or the blood or the liquid, the biohazard that we're cleaning up, and turn it into a gel so you can scoop it up with the scoop and then put it in the bag, and it makes it so much easier to clean up. I can remember when my children would throw up as young people, it would just be this gelatinous mass that as I tried to scoop it up, it would fall off or move around, and then I would clean it up, and then I would go throw up myself because it was just nasty, nasty, nasty. If I had had this little gel right here, this little powder to turn it into a gel, I would have been a much happier parent as my children were sick and their little bodies were doing that. Anyway, you all must have a bloodborne pathogen kit. It doesn't have to look like this. There are many different styles out there. You just need to find one that you can get consistently. So the last item I want to talk about would be bleach. And that is, if a guest calls up and says there is mold in my shower and I want you to come and take care of it, I'm going to show up with bleach. Remember what I said earlier when we were talking about Sporgo. Bleach does not kill mold and mildew. It changes the color. So when I show up to take care of mold and mildew with a guest, I am going to show up with bleach, spray it, change the color. It looks like it's gone. And then after the guest departs, I'm going to come back in with the product that does kill mold and mildew. And so I always have a little bit of bleach ready. That way, if I do get the call, I can go and take care of that. So with that, on your little drop-down box, there's a place for you to type in questions. We've talked about all the tools that I wanted to bring up here, both the physical tools and the liquid tools. So if you have a question that you would like to ask, you can certainly type it in and I will be happy to answer that for you. As you're contemplating your questions and thinking about those, I do want to reiterate that you know, having a great relationship with your local janitorial supply company is great. It allows you to be able to test and do different things as they come through, as new products happen, and as things happen that way. As things happen, you know, you just need to try things and look at things and be able to see what's going on, because things are constantly changing. There's always new things out there to try. So Natalie has asked, what is my favorite product to have in my arsenal? I have to tell you, my favorite cleaning, my favorite specialty cleaning product would be the Enzyme product. It is just the coolest thing. I have used it in so many ways and in so many things to make my job easier. That is my favorite liquid tool. My favorite physical tool would have to be a Doodlebug, which we didn't discuss here. So I guess I can't say that one. It has to be one I've discussed. So it would have to be the carpet machine. I just love the utility of the carpet machine, as I can clean carpet, I can clean tile, and I can clean concrete depending upon the products that I have available to use. Another question coming in, what would you use for musty odors in closets? So I would generally the musty odor is coming from mold and mildew generally. So I would use the Sporgo for that, because you can spray that all over. The other product that I would use is commercial Febreze, not the residential Febreze, but the commercial Febreze. Big difference between the two. Technology is similar, but the commercial is much better. And so that's what I would use. I would use the commercial Febreze. All right, great questions. Thank you so much. Just a couple other things. If you're not a member of VRHP, we would encourage you to do so. And you can contact info@VRHP for additional information. And we do have some additional upcoming webinars taking place. I wanted to revisit that. So we talked about that at the top of the broadcast and wanted to bring it to your attention here again. We've got some great items coming up for you. And I want to make sure, info@vohp.org. Oh, I did it wrong. Oh, thank you so much. I was so busy typing this morning. It's vrhp.org. Oh, good catch, Natalie. Thank you so much. info@vrhp.org. And I want to thank you all for attending. I appreciate you being in attendance. This seminar or webinar is recorded, and so you will be able to see it. You'll be able to see it on our VRHP YouTube channel, and we will see you at our next webinar on April 4th. Thank you so much for attending. Have a great day.